Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 6 of You Asked For It Budget Crafting. I think we're going to shorten the name to just Budget Crafting. I'm going to drop the You Asked For It part just because it makes it so long. But this series is here for you to ask for whatever it may be that you would like to see me do, or if you want to try and figure out how to make your own product, or embellishments or something that you've seen at the store, but it's just a little too expensive to buy, just ask and I will see if we can figure out a cheaper way to do it. So today we're going to make what I call plastic napkins, and this is what we're going to do today. And you've got a nice shiny side, and then you also have a matte side, and it makes your napkin, this is just one layer of napkin, and it makes it much sturdier than if you were to just work with just a napkin. So but I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to show you how we do this, and then at the end I'm going to show you some really cool techniques that you can do with it. Well, at least one cool technique that you can do with it. So to start with, I just have a piece of acetate here. Now this is just a piece of plastic that I cut off some packaging, and I do that whenever I have packaging that has a nice flat piece of acetate. I cut it off. I have a whole drawer full, but you never know when you're going to need them, and I do use them quite often. So you need a piece of acetate, a napkin, and your water glue. And water glue is just 1 part water to 2 parts PVA glue. Elmer's glue is PVA glue, just white glue. And I just keep it in a, what is this, sour cream container. And what I do is when I put it away, I close it up like this. And then I give it a shake, holding your cap. But what happens is a little bit of that glue gets around the top edge, and then that kind of dries what's up there around the top edge, and it seals it so that the rest of it stays. I have had glue that I set aside and couldn't find the container for a while, like a year. So I made a new one, and then I found it, and it was really about a year, was still good when I found it because it was sealed tightly. So this is just water glue. Again, 2 parts white glue to 1 part water. And then you'll need a napkin. And with the napkins, you need to remember to take off the second layer or not the second layer. You need to take off the layer of napkin so that you only have the front layer to use. Some napkins have 2 layers of white. Some have just 1 layer of white. But you want to make sure that you take that off, because otherwise your napkin, after that dries, can separate the white part from your front part. And you don't want that to happen because it will ruin things. So it's very easy to do, and all you're going to do is you're just going to take your glue and just paint it on your acetate a little bit bigger than your napkin, just so that you don't have to try and exactly stick it down in one little spot. It doesn't hurt to have a little extra. And then you can just set it down. If it's crooked or whatever, we're taking it off of here when we're done. So it doesn't matter how it's sitting on the acetate. So a nice layer of glue. And then just take your napkin. It's kind of easiest to bend your napkin and start it in the middle. And then just let it kind of roll down one way. And then the other. There we go. So that you don't wind up with lots of pockets, although pockets are totally fine. Wrinkles are fine. And then you're just going to press it down. Now, it's wet underneath, so you want to be careful about ripping your napkin. And so I'm just going to press that down a little bit. And now I'm going to take another layer of our water glue and cover the whole top of our napkin. And again, remember, now you're getting it wet on the top. It was wet on the bottom already. And it's just 1 layer of napkin. So you do need to be careful. I'm moving a little bit faster than I normally do. I normally work a little bit more from center out to work out any wrinkles or air bubbles if I want to. The air bubbles are the one thing that I want to work out, because then I want the shininess of the glue on the other side. And if there's an air bubble, sometimes that little spot does not get shiny. So, and then if you do have a spot where you want to press it out a little better, there's a little wrinkle right here, then all you do is I stick my finger in the glue. Don't touch it with your dry finger because it will rip. So, but if you get your finger wet, then you can go in there, and this also helps really kind of push it down and give it good contact with the acetate below. But you can just go through and work out any wrinkles that you have, and also as soon as you start to run out of glue, get a little bit more so that you don't rip your napkin. You'd hate to get it almost done and get to the top and be too lazy to grab just a little bit more glue and go, oh, I just got that little bit left, and then you tear it. And I say that because I know, because I've done that before. But it's, you know, you can really feel how your finger, like my finger is kind of getting to the point where it's not gliding across the napkin anymore. And I only had a little bit, but like I said, it's easy to rip it if your finger gets dry. And then I'm just kind of gonna smooth it out a little bit, although that doesn't really matter. It dries matte, and you don't really, I've never really seen any, you know, like marks in it. So there we go. Now, the thing about this is you need to set it aside and let it dry overnight. But it is definitely worth it. And hold on a second, I need to grab a napkin. It's definitely worth it, and it is something that, you know, you can, you know, do a few of them and set them all aside. And then the next day you'll have something to look at. But, and it'll give you something to do if you do a few, you know, then it gives you some, it gives you time. I don't know how to say that, but okay, so because I don't want you to have to wait overnight, and I haven't quite figured out with my new phone how to edit videos yet, so I'm trying to do them all in one shot without having to add parts together. I've already got one done, exactly the same. It's on a piece of acetate, and I did it exactly how we just did that one. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off. Now see, remember how I said, believe me, you don't want to just get right to that last little spot. Let's see if I have something that you can you see right there? There's a hole up in that corner right there because I ripped it. I only had like this much to go, and I thought, oh, I can do that. Well, no, I couldn't. It ripped. So, but that's okay. We'll figure that out later. Now what you're going to do is you are going to start scraping the glue off of the acetate. And you want to do that all the way around. You can kind of go in this way and scrape it off, or you can go towards the napkin. The biggest thing is that you just want to make sure that you don't rip your napkin. So now we have to be careful all the way around. Sometimes I don't want to start pulling that up yet. I've got too much hook down here. But once you get some of it lifted, then if you're careful, you don't have to scrape it off all the way around. You can lift it off the acetate and then cut it off with scissors when you're done. Okay, now I've got a little bit of a better space on each side that this may work. And I'm just going to move very carefully and making sure that I separate the napkin from the glue that's stuck to the acetate as I go. And if I'm finding that that's really, really holding, let me just go in there and snip that. I'm going to do the same thing over here because it's kind of holding. So I'm just snipping the glue. You can also take something and slide it carefully under there to help you lift. Now going this way, really need to be careful. This is really stuck. And if I'm not careful, it's going to come and rip into my napkin. So I'm kind of doing this one at an angle, but not too far, or I'll rip across there. And this one, I am going to give it a little bit of a cut with the scissors. And just carefully watch both sides. Now that I'm at the top, it was gonna rip over there, so I'm just gonna kind of angle it now. Still watching that spot because it might be hooked down just too well. I'm gonna cut that little bit of glue, and there we go. And then you can use that acetate again. Now, this peacock has one little bubble right there. And so that was when I said, you know, you try and get down your bubbles because they can show. It's not going to hurt anything. When you're making something handmade, it does not need to be perfect. And what may happen if you have a lot of glue left, this glue has come over and stuck to itself or stuck to this side of our napkin because it is so thin and it kind of just flies away. So you want to just peel that back carefully and then cut it off. So you want to cut this off as soon as you peel it off your acetate so that it doesn't come over and stick to your shiny side of your plastic napkin. Because if it sticks to it, then, you know, it's not that you can't get it off, but, you know, you just have to work at getting it off, and it makes it matte where it has stuck to it. And so you don't want that matte part on your nice shiny napkin. I don't know if you can see right here how it's matte right up there on the corner, and then it's shiny here. And that is because that glue is stuck right there. So you just carefully separate it from that layer. Cut it off. And as you get it separated, cut it off right away. Don't try and separate like a whole side, because what happens is by the time you get to the bottom, this part is stuck back over again. And we've got some more here, so I'll work on this later, and I will get that off because we've got some more here, and I've got some down here. But that is how you do it. Yeah, I'm going to have to get that off later. And isn't that just really cool? Now you can put this on a glass jar with a candle inside. That would be really cool. And because this is water glue, it's Elmer's glue, excuse me, and water. If it gets wet, it will get sticky again. So what you can do, if it's going to be something that you think will get wet, you know, damp or whatever, you can spray it with a clear coat. You know, just from Walmart, Menards, wherever you know, do your shopping for spray paint, just grab some spray paint and you can give it a quick coat of that clear coat, any kind of clear coat, and then that will make it so that the water glue is not right on the top where if it gets wet, it's going to get sticky. Now, it still wouldn't make it so you could like put it in a dishwasher or wash it in the sink, but, you know, it will make it so that if somebody puts wet hands on it or something, it's not going to get wet and stick to their hands. All right, so we're going to work with this one that I've already done. And again, like I said, you could do it shiny side up or matte side up. I like shiny side up. With a card, I don't worry about spraying it because it's just a card. It shouldn't get wet, and people don't keep cards forever anyways. So these look really cool on a card. And what I need to do is just trim it down so that it fits the front of my card. And this top looks like it's straight, so I'm going to start. And I normally cut it with scissors, so we are going to check out how this works. If I cut it there, how much is that gonna... This should still be okay. I'm going to carefully... It works. Okay, I wasn't sure how well it would work. Now we know we have a straight edge there, so now I'm going to cut it this way, and I'm going to see... I want to leave just a little bit of my card all the way around. So if I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch, if I move it up another 1/8 of an inch for the bottom part, then I can line it up right with the bottom of that card. And that's just an approximate. So I've got about 1/4 of an inch smaller than my card. Now let's see how much we've got here, because this is on an angle. Oh, that's good. I can cut off just a little bit more. I'm going to cut it right there. Okay. So now we have these few extra pieces, and they work great for collage. So, you know, don't throw them away because they're fun to play with for other things. And then now we have our napkin that's going to fit on top of our card. Now, this is the cool little fun thing that I just was thinking of earlier. And so this is really cute, and it's pretty. I want to edge the edge of that with some pink, if I can find some. Everything but, here we go. I'm going to do that before I go any further. Just use a little bit of the distress inks. They don't have to be distress inks. It can be any kind of... Ooh, this is darker than I thought. I thought this was a really light pink. Any kind of ink pad will do this. It doesn't have to be distress inks. Distress inks blend together well, and a lot of times that's why, you know, people like to use them. The ones that I've had, the pads are normally very, very wet and, you know, last for quite a while. So I do like them, but it's not something that I actually use all different sorts of inks, and mostly because I have bought some different crafty stashes from different crafters on YouTube where I can buy things cheaper than what I would pay at the store. And, or I buy them at garage sales, or I buy them when they're really on sale. And so I just buy whatever it is. I don't really go for a specific one. Now that just makes the card look just a little bit nicer with that edging on there. But it's a little bit plain, and there's kind of something that I thought I wanted to do. So I pulled out these 3 stamps, Dream, Believe, and Hope, but I don't want to stamp them on the top. I want it to look a little more interesting. So because this is see-through, I want to stamp them underneath. And so I did stamp them on paper to see if that would work, and it does. And then you can tell that the flower is on top of the word, and it's really quite cool. And then I thought, well, not knowing exactly where I want them, why don't I kind of lay them out? And I really wanted Believe at the top. Why don't I kind of lay them out approximately where I want them, because I can see through this. So that will, no, I'm not going to try and figure out how to get it in exactly the same spot, but I want it in about the same spot. So I want that one up there. And this one I thought would fit in here. And it is where, like, we've got black here and black here. So I do kind of want to get it to where it's not under the black, because it doesn't show up as well under the black. And then we'll put Hope right down here. And then it's going to just lightly show through our card. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick this up and then stamp them in approximately that position. So, and I stamped them on the paper earlier because I just wanted to make sure. Sometimes if you have a brand new stamp, you need to stamp it off a few times because it kind of has a film on it. And so I just wanted to make sure that they would stamp, because if it has that little bit of film on it, then it doesn't stamp really well the first few times that you stamp with it. And when you get new stamps, if that happens, stamp it a few times, because more than likely it will start doing better after it's been stamped a few times and kind of gets that layer off of there. And then I can use these in collage later. And the last one. And like I said, it's not going to be in exactly the same spot, but it's going to be close. And it's going to show through. And if it has a spot that it doesn't totally show through, whoever gets it is going to know what it says, and they're going to think it's kind of cool that it's underneath the top. And so there we go. Now we have our words underneath, and it looks really cool. Now, the better that this is sealed to the backing, you know, the more solid it is, the more that you will see the word underneath. So you can paint, use your water glue on there, and then carefully put this on top. I think I am just going to, for now, I'm going to use just double-sided tape. If you do put your water glue on there, your shiny side will get matte if you get it wet and touch it with the water glue. So paint it on here and then carefully lay it down. Put like a piece of paper on top and press it down so that you don't get stuff on the top of, and then make sure you get that paper off there right away, because if you have glue on the edges, it will want to stick. But just use a piece of scrap paper so you can peel it off. And, but you don't want to get water glue on top of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go just inside the edges, because that almost fits all the way to the edges. And I don't want my tape sticking out. Normally, I put my tape on the smaller of whatever I'm gluing. So this is smaller. I would normally put my tape on here. But I wanted to, at this point, I'm going to put some tape right on those words. So I didn't want tape here and there, and then try and line it up, because I thought that might really be a problem. Okay. Yeah. Alrighty, and then I'm just going to take this. Try and make sure that it's straight and centered. And if it's not, it's handmade. It's one thing you really have to remember, that if it's handmade, you're more than likely not going to be perfect. I don't care who you are. It's not going to be perfect. There will be some little thing. And the thing is, you're probably the only one that's going to see that little thing. Anybody else that's looking at it is not going to see if there's a little problem here or there. And so there we go. Now this would look really cute to, you know, like to maybe put some trim around the edges, maybe put a flower on it down in this area, you know, just to give it some lift so it's not just a flat card. But I'm not going to go that far in decorating the card, but I did want to show you how you can use this on a card and how you can stamp underneath of it. So, and then the one thing that I really want to do is, I just got a new napkin yesterday, and so this is just the same as what we've already done, but I want to have this one. So I'm going to use this. I'm not going to bother peeling the glue off right now. I'm just going to flip it over and use the other side. You do want to take this glue off of here before you use this side again, because those spots will make marks on your napkin. Oh, and then the other thing I was going to say too is like how you have done these little strips or whatever. So those might look cute if you just put like one on the inside along the edge there or over here or something, and that would look, I thought that would look really kind of cute in there. Just as a little extra something on the inside of your card, so it's not just the writing. Need to be careful because I keep wanting to set stuff on top of our wet peacock. Alrighty, so I'm going to show you how to separate the backing from the napkin. I found this napkin at the Dollar Tree when I did my shopping yesterday, and I just thought it was gorgeous, and I want to make this panel for our Journaling on a Budget journal. And so I thought that while I had everything out and while I was doing it, I would go ahead and show you the process one more time. So let's so this tape is grabbing the back layer of napkin, I find that the easiest way. I learned that from Crafty Irina a long, long time ago. She showed us how to do this, but it just makes it so much easier to get it started, because it's really hard if you're just trying to pull it apart. And I've seen other ways to do it, but this to me is the easiest way. So just put a piece of tape on it and pull the tape up, and it will rip this back layer so you can get your fingers in there. Because around the edges it's really sealed, but it's not as sealed in the middle. And then you just want to be careful as you're separating. Now this is just a 2-ply napkin. So I know that I have all of the napkin off, but some of your better napkins are 3 plies, and so you need to take off. They only come off a lot of times 1 layer at a time, so you would need to do that again and take off the next layer. But this only just has this colorful layer left. So I'm just going to, and I'm not going to really worry about how exact I get it, so that I can straighten it up. I really should have even cut a little more over here. Just cut a little extra so that you can straighten it up when you are ready to use it. And so there we go. Now we know we have a straight edge here when we do go to straighten it up. And we're just going to grab our water glue. Always give it a shake before you use it. And after you use it, before you put it away. Just to make sure that it's mixed up well. But, excuse me. So yeah, we'll just get this one done. I just want to tell all of you, thank you so much for your sweet comments. I'm getting into some kind of a routine, haven't quite got there yet. And I always used to answer all of my comments, and lately I haven't really answered any of them, including some of you that have asked questions. I try and answer those, but I just haven't. I don't open my computer. I don't know why. I have this thing about, when I open up my phone, I'll quick look and see if I have any emails, and all of my comments that you leave show up on my email. I'm going to do this one from the middle this way, but I can't answer them on my phone. I really am not technology savvy, and I really don't really want to be. You know, learning how to do that stuff does not. I want to learn this kind of stuff, and I want to do this kind of stuff. I don't really want to learn how to do something with my phone or my computer. But I just really, I try and get in there and open it up and get it going, but I just haven't been. So I apologize for not answering all of your comments, but I appreciate each and every one of them. You don't know how great it makes me feel to read your nice comments. And I've had a lot of people saying, I hope you're doing well, and everything is going very well. So we're starting to get to a new normal. You know, sometimes I think, why does it take so long? You know, like probably most people would be back to normal by now, or they would have a new normal figured out. And I don't. You know, I'm getting there. But I don't know why it's taking so long, but it just kind of is. I have rituals that I've had, and that's part of it. You know, I've taken care of my parents for 15 years, 16 years. I quit my job 16 years ago. And so it's very different to not have that kind of responsibility. You know, I mean, see, now I just rubbed that way too hard and totally messed that corner up. So I'm going to, whatever I use this for, I don't know why I'm rubbing it that hard. Put it on there and just easily smooth it out. So yeah, I just, you know, took me 15 years to get into this kind of a mode. So I'm guessing it's okay that I haven't quite figured out what my new normal is going to be. Took me 15 years to figure out that normal. So, but yeah, but everything is going well. Health-wise in my family, things are going well, so that is good. We are going to go see our grandbaby in August. So that is wonderful. We're excited about that. And so, yeah, so it definitely is getting, everything is kind of starting to get back to normal. I'm getting used to the fact that if I need to go to the store, I can actually just get in my car and do that. I went to the big city the other day because I wanted some, my husband calls them hippie pants. They're a pair of lounge pants that I got at Walmart, but our Walmart doesn't have any. And my computer said that, because I went to order some, and it said that you couldn't order them anymore because they're like on clearance, but that they, in the big city, that there was one of the stores that had like a bunch of them. So it was the middle of the day. My husband was at work, and I just went. And then I thought that I would go to the recycle store while I was down there, because I really don't go there very often. And so I was driving, and as I was crossing the highway, going, you know, like getting off the highway and going up and across the highway, I looked at all the cars thinking, you know, all those people, you know, that are driving and where are they going and, you know, are coming from. And then I got to thinking, and I thought, I'm in Grand Rapids and no one knows where I am. Like, no one knows. I just got in my van and I left. My husband was working. I couldn't call him. You know, my kids don't live here anymore. I didn't have to have someone come and stay with Papa so I could go somewhere. And so I literally just went somewhere and nobody knew. And it really hit me, like, I am somewhere and no one knows where I am. Not like a bad thing, not like, oh no, what if something happens? I mean, we have our cell phones and ID and everything else. It was just the fact of, I have never been someplace in the last 15 years where someone didn't know where I was because they were here taking care of Grandma and Grandpa, or, you know, I was only going to be gone for a really short period of time. So, I mean, even if I ran to town to do the bills or do the grocery shopping, you know, Papa knew where I was. You know, I had to tell him where I was going and when I would be back, and, you know, I had a time limit because snack was at a certain time and lunch was at a certain time and breakfast was at a certain time, so you had to go between them and be back in time for the next one. So, but yeah, so I just did really want to say thank you very much for all of your well wishes. And thank you for your concern and asking about how everything is going, and everything is going well. So it's going very well. And I appreciate each and every one of you because you've really helped me through it. You don't even know how much. It has been wonderful with all of your comments and emails and that type of thing. It has just really been a blessing for me. So thank you very much for watching our video today. So I hope that you like how these turn out, because I think that they're really quite cool. And we will, you'll see this one at some point in the journaling on a budget series. So because that's really what I thought that the colors in that go really well with that journal. So, but thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate you. And I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.